us. We should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. That works for us this very day. But folks, this was written how many years ago? To the church at that time. They had a problem also with materialism, with the world. They had a problem with people doing things. That's why the Bible can talk about it in that day and time, and it looks like he's talking about us right now. What does that mean? People has always had these problems. That's why we need a God. That's why we need a prayer life. That's why we need a church to go to. That's why we need the Lord. Because that's what helps us so that we can be overcomers of worldly lust. And we can be soberly minded. And all the things that we do. Our yea be yea and our nay be nay. Mean what you say and say what you mean. That's what the Word of God teaches us. It teaches us to be sober in all the things that we do. But He also tells us there's a time to play, a time to laugh. There's also a time to be serious. There's a time to cry. There's a time for all things. God gives us a time, and we should be able to discern the difference. But we live in a world today that cannot discern the difference. And that's why there are people out here doing foolish things, stupid things, ignorant things. I mean, some of those things, when you say ignorant, that means they just did not know. But when you say stupid, that means they couldn't know. They couldn't be taught. That's the difference between those two words. I'd rather be ignorant than stupid. Because if I'm ignorant, that means I could learn. I could be taught. It's just that nobody's expounded it to me more perfectly the way it's supposed to be. I mean, that's what happened in the Word of God. Priscilla and Aquila was out there and they heard somebody and they said, oh, wait a minute, this guy don't know. We got to teach him more eloquently, you know. Expound to them more perfectly the Word of God. So this guy can go out here and be like us, teaching the Word of God more like it's supposed to be. That lets me to know that just any wind and doctrine don't work. The Word of God is with precision. It means what it says what it means. By the way, it says there's no private interpretation. So when somebody says, well, this is what I think it means, and somebody says, well, I think it means this over here, and they start coming up with all these different interpretations, there's something wrong. Because the Word of God says there's no private interpretation. If we're going to be disciples of Jesus Christ, if we're going to be followers, we're going to get in His Word, and you know what? We're going to all be walking that same straight line. That's true. Because God's not going to show me one thing and show you something else and be two different things on how to serve Him. He says He's one Lord. He's just one. One faith. One baptism. And it's all in His name. Not somebody else's name. Not some prophet. 2 Timothy 4:10. Talks about a follower that all of a sudden was not a follower anymore. For Demas have forsaken me, having loved this present world. Now this is why we talk about standards. This is why we talk about rules and regulations. This is why we talk about the world so much. Because the Bible talks about this present world. Worldly lust. The Bible talks about these things. And I've heard people say, well, I want to go to church where it's not a clothesline church. I want to go to church where they don't have all these rules and regulations. I want to go to church. What they're saying is they want to go where somebody's not teaching the Word of God. They loved this present world. Demas did, because he had forsaken me, having loved this present world. He wanted to go to the big church downtown, where they could dress how they wanted to, and do what they wanted to, and say what they wanted to, and still say they're a Christian. Who are they following? Self-centered. They're following themselves because they're pleasing themselves. Not pleasing to God, because if you go back and just read the few scriptures we read in our lesson, there's a way to please God and a way not to please God. But Demas, having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica, and these other two places, Titus. Oh my, I don't know what he's trying to say, but he done went off the deep end, it looks like. We've got to be careful what we do. Because I've seen many start out to follow God and drop off along the way. Run into them years later, still not serving God. And the sad thing is they lived their life and missed out on so many blessings of the Lord all that time. And some of them never get back to God, and so they're going to miss out on the blessings of the Lord even for eternity. Luke 14:27. And we was talking about a cost. The cost is we have to deny ourselves. Here it says, and whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. To bear that cross, that is to deny oneself. Every disciple's cross contains self-denial and sacrificing of one's own will. That's what your cross has. If you're not willing to deny yourself and sacrifice, then you're not willing to take up your cross and follow Him. And many times we say, well, I'll take my cross up and go, but we're not thinking about what that means. Taking up your cross is denying yourself. Self have a lot of desires. But I have to make myself stay away from some of those desires if I want to take up my cross and follow the Lord. If I want somebody to recognize me as a Christian, to see me or hear me as a Christian, I've got to be carrying my cross, not just when I'm in the church, but when I go to the store, when I go to the school, when I go down the road, up the road, or across town. I've got to still be carrying my cross. I've got to deny myself. I can't get out there and act like an idiot like some people do, and then come to church and act like I'm, a Christian. I see people do that, and I think, oh my, they're losing out. They think that they're fooling somebody, and all they're doing is fooling themselves. If you're going to be Christ-like today and in the house of the Lord, and you're going to claim to be Christian, and you want to live a Christian life, you want to go to heaven, you want God to say, well done, my good and faithful servant, you know that you've got to take up your cross because He said to, and carry it with you everywhere you go. When we leave this place, we've got to take our cross with us. Someone said, well, just what did that mean to take up your cross? You got to die on a cross, not literally. But spiritually, you've got to be willing to say no when your flesh says, I want something, and the Word of God says, no, you've got to be sober. You've got to be sober-minded. You can't get out there and cut up and act like those people over there. You can't go and do some of these silly things that they do. How many raced in their car when they was teenagers?